Florida regularly places in the top 3 states every year for workplace deaths and workplace injuries. These are definitely not lists that you want to be on the top of.
For me, a tower of strength in the face of the enemy.
My name is Jeanette Smith. I'm the Executive Director of South Florida Interfaith Worker Justice. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you why worker justice is important, why it should matter to all of us, and why faith is at the heart of what we do. We are South Florida Interfaith Worker Justice is one of 68 affiliates around the country. The National Interfaith Worker Justice is located in Chicago. We're a network of people of faith that calls upon our religious values in order to educate, organize, and mobilize the religious community in the United States on issues and campaigns that will improve wages, benefits, and conditions for workers, and also give voice to workers, particularly low-wage workers. We also work directly with workers themselves in helping them to raise up their own voices. It's interesting how many people think that worker justice doesn't affect them, which surprises me because we all work. That's what we do. And often those of us that are, let's say, in maybe higher paying positions think, well, it doesn't really affect me, but would be surprised to know that it does. Not only when we talk about worker justice, that's very broad, but we might be talking about wage theft, where people work and they don't get paid, or they don't get paid what they were promised. We could be talking about workplace safety, safety conditions at work, and whether those things affect you personally. They could affect family members, they could affect people in your communities. So whether or not you're a worker affected by these issues, or whether or not you just live in a community with workers affected by these issues, it's something that we all need to know about, as it does have a circular or trickle-down effect that affects all of us. Our board president, Rabbi Solomon Schiff, who was very involved in the civil rights movement once upon a time, has a long history of social justice, once told me when I asked him about why we exist, and he said if there wasn't an interfaith worker justice, we'd have to invent one. Because the reality is there is a disparity in bargaining power, a disparity in inequity at times between employers and employees. There are many good employers out there, but unfortunately there are many who aren't. In increasingly competitive environments, it can be very challenging. And I think that if we're not constantly reminded of why justice in the workplace is important, it's an easy thing to forget. Our organization was formed, Interfaith Worker Justice, with the idea that it was an opportunity to bring together different faith traditions who all of their scriptures teach that justice is important, that sometimes the scriptures will even speak about the inequity, the difference in power between the employer and employee, and what the obligations of an employer are in order to properly treat employees. And the idea behind Interfaith Worker Justice is not just that we'll talk about our work within a faith context, but it's an opportunity for people to come together as one prophetic voice. Whether you have a house of worship that you attend, whether you maybe self-describe as spiritual instead of religious, but the point is that all of our faiths are telling us that this is the right thing to do. And by coming together as one prophetic voice, we truly can make change. I think that we're not naive enough to assume that we're going to improve on all working conditions. We recognize that. But our goal in South Florida, our goal throughout the state, is that we can make change. We can raise awareness about the issues that workers are affected by. We can get workers to learn what their own rights are and to speak up for themselves. We can engage faith community in supporting these workers and supporting policy changes that will benefit all of us. I don't know if that sounds like a bit much or that sounds like too little, but we can make change. We passed the first countywide wage theft ordinance in the country in 2010. Since then, over $2 million in unpaid wages has been awarded to workers. And when you think that the average wage, the average claim is $800, think about how many workers have already been affected by what we do. So joining with us, with you working with us working together in partnership, faith communities, individuals, government agencies, workers' rights, human rights groups, we can make change, and we can make lasting change that will change not just the lives of individuals and their families, but our community as a whole. please look for South Florida Interfaith Worker Justice, not only on our website at SFIWJ.org, but also across various platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're looking forward to hearing from you, and we'd like to work together. So thank you very much for joining us for a few minutes, and welcome aboard, bienvenido, bienvenido, tout le monde sait le nom.